Something small that I appreciate about Cold War Zombies is the fact that equipment is actually usable in each stage of the game. Providing players with such a variety of equipment to play with leads to some creative and engaging gameplay. But I think we can do much better by simply asking, what if equipment had its own tier upgrades? Tier upgrades are one of my favorite things introduced into Cold War Zombies. The feeling of ranking up perks, ammo mods, and even weapons encourages players to keep replaying the game to see just how powerful these new upgrades are. Strangely, one of the only game mechanics that doesn't have a tier upgrade path is the equipment, so let's change that. Here are my crazy ideas for upgrading the equipment. Stuns. For each piece of equipment, I think an easy tier upgrade would be to allow players to hold one more of that equipment, so I'm just going to add that to every idea I have. As for stuns, there could be a tier that increases the duration that enemies are stunned for, another that increases the effective range of the stun, another that makes the player immune to the stun effect, and the craziest one, perhaps a tier that makes it so that stunned enemies drop bonus points when killed. Decoys. These could be so much fun. Having a tier that increases the attraction duration, another that increases the range of the decoy's attraction radius, and another that even attracts special and boss zombies. Now, I don't have 5 ideas for each piece of equipment, but I think just throwing out these ideas is cool enough. Stims. This one is a weird one, but maybe having an upgrade that gives players back their health instantly would be the natural next step. Perhaps a tier that gives players 50 extra health until it's lost, and maybe another tier that provides players with a speed boost or cranked effect shortly after injecting themselves. Similar to the decoys, monkey bombs could attract enemies for a longer duration as well as attract special and boss zombies. But perhaps the obvious one is having the tier 5 upgrade turn the monkey bombs into the upgraded monkey bombs from Black Ops 3, where they constantly deal damage to the horde that surrounds them. Moving on to lethal equipment, I'm going to lump together Frags and Semtex since they are fairly similar. There are obvious upgrades like a bigger explosion radius and a more lethal explosion, but maybe they could be made a little bit more interesting by dealing more damage to special and boss zombies. Finally, I think having both the Frag and the Semtex work as cluster grenades like in Black Ops 4 would be an incredibly fun upgrade. We can go absurd with Tomahawks. The most grounded idea I have is to allow the Tomahawk to have more penetrating power so that it can kill more than 2 or 3 zombies at a time. Maybe an upgrade that allows for them to have a near straight trajectory, or get this, an upgrade that allows them to pick up power-up drops just like the Hell's Retriever in Mob of the Dead. Speaking of the Hell's Retriever, that is an easy tier 5 upgrade. Have the Tomahawk path to multiple zombies for a short duration. Moving on to Molotovs. Simple ones here, having tiers with a longer burn duration, a stronger burn duration, and a larger fire radius are easily the low-hanging fruit. More interestingly, however, an upgrade could be that players are immune to the fire damage from the Molotovs. Additionally, we could take a page out of Doom Eternal's book and have enemies burned by Molotovs have an increased chance of dropping armor shards. I'll be honest with you, C4 is the equipment that I have the least amount of creative ideas for. Obviously, there is stuff like a bigger and stronger blast radius, as well as full immunity. That would be a nice touch, but other than that, I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps players could detonate the C4 multiple times before it gets used, or maybe even enemies killed by C4 have an increased chance to drop salvage. Either way, these are just some ideas that I came up with off the top of my head. Personally, I love these ideas, though I may be a bit biased. I think implementing such a tier system for the equipment would help provide players with an incentive to actually use the equipment. Oftentimes, I find myself not even bothering with the equipment in-game because they seem stale and stagnant. With these upgrades, the question does come up, are these too powerful? Well, if Treyarch thinks so, I have some ideas to balance these ideas. First, if players upgrade a specific piece of equipment, perhaps that increases the rarity of that equipment and decreases the drop rate from enemies. For example, a rare stun would drop as often as it does now, but if you rank it all the way up to tier 5, those stuns would drop less often. Secondly, a simple price increase in the crafting table to reflect the rarity of each piece of equipment. For example, an unupgraded Molotov costs 500 uncommon salvage, but the fully upgraded Molotov could cost 100 rare salvage. While I believe that these tier upgrades would fit amazingly well into Cold War Zombies, considering they are a simple extension of the Cold War Zombies mechanics, there is another crazier idea that I don't think anyone is going to go for. What if we take the Black Ops 4 specialist weapon level system and apply it to the equipment in Cold War? This means at the start of the game, equipment drops as it does currently, all blue rarity and as powerful as they are now. However, when you pick up or craft a piece of equipment, there is a level associated with it, and the more you use it, the better that equipment becomes. Decoy grenades start off weak, only attracting zombies in a small radius, but get enough kills on enemies distracted by decoys, and they start distracting special and boss zombies and attracting regular zombies for longer. Take all of the tiers that I just suggested and apply them in-game with this system. I know this is probably not going to happen since it largely diverges away from the base system in Cold War Zombies, but it's always fun to talk about and get the conversation going. After thinking about this for some time, I really hope they do introduce tier upgrades to equipment. I think it would be great to have a reason to grind some more crystals, and giving players more fun ways to kill zombies is always welcome. What are your thoughts on my crazy ideas? What tier upgrades would you like to see with equipment? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, join my Discord to continue this conversation with me personally, and subscribe for more Cold War Zombies content. And as always, stay beautiful.